standing as one of the four Asian tigers in its own peninsula, the Republic of South Korea, today with a pleasant visit of its ambassador to South Africa, Park Jong-Dae. How are you this morning?
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Pleasure. Excellency, you recently arrived to South Africa. What diplomatic and personal experience have you in South Africa have you already experienced?
Yes, so I was looking very much forward to coming to South Africa because it's a very important country and beautiful country in Africa. And as an expert in the region, before coming here, I was ambassador in Uganda, and also I served in West Africa in Cote d'Ivoire. So I heard and learned a lot about South Africa, and I'm very pleased to be here as an ambassador. And it's been 3 months, but I've met many people, and I can see the diversity of this country, and it offers many opportunities. Not only in terms of businesses, but also the academia is very strong. There are many think tanks, and many colleagues in our diplomatic corps. So I'm really enjoying the life, and I'm getting to know more and more about South Africa, because before I thought I knew much about Africa, but here is a totally different country. There are of course some similarities, but very differences. And as a country, South Korea, we are also a member of a G20, which the South Korea is a member of, and I'm very much looking forward to having very fruitful partnership with South Africa.
So what are those areas of collaboration between the two countries? What are your plans to expand and pursue new cooperation agreements during your term?
Oh yes, and I think we are in very special moment, and I'm very lucky to be here at this moment because of the positive changes that are taking place in two countries. There's some similarities. Of course, with the new President Ramaphosa, there's a greater hope of economic prosperity and political stability in South Africa. And also, in our case, we had a new government last year. President Moon Jae-in became a president with a renewed hope on progressing in our politics, but also in many fields. And as the both member of G20, we have much to work together. And I think Korea, we also we export a lot of commodity to South Africa, but not only the business, but in terms of also our historical experience. We have this precious experience in development, country which realized drastic economic transformation. I think that can be also important for South Korea to learn. So business, development, and also international diplomacy, and we have a sizable Korean community here. They play an important role. So I would like them to be successful in their life here. And of course, we have interest in international security, like situation in Korean Peninsula.
Correct. Seoul, your capital city, is considered the world's fourth largest metropolitan economy. Your country, as we say earlier, is known as the Asian tigers or dragons. How has South Korea accomplished such global status?
Yes, so our country is referred as a kind of miracle because of the fast economic growth it was able to achieve. For example, there have been only two countries which realized more than 5% growth every year for 5 decades in a row, and that happens to be South Korea and Taiwan. And from 1965 to 2005, over the period of 40 years, our economic growth rate average was 8.1%. So that's very remarkable. And I think the key to our growth was human capital and social capital. It's not resources or means that fueled our growth, but the work of the people. And I think that holds many important lessons for many countries. But I think it's really up to the people to make use of what they have and working very hard and being very entrepreneurial. Despite the adversity you face, if you have commitment and the people working together, you can achieve this kind of development.
Sure. And have any South African brands show interest in your market?
Okay. I think our companies are greatly attracted to South Africa because we consider South Africa not only for its own market, but as a hub to enter the rest of the continent. And that's why we already have many companies' headquarters stationed here, mostly in Sandton. And there are a number of Korean big companies. And slowly, we are relatively new to Africa. We have not had the kind of relationship that many developed countries have. We are latecomer, but we think Africa is the last frontier, and definitely there is huge potential of market growth. There can be some challenges in other regions, but South Africa is a very good base for us to do business because it's very modernized and it has a good infrastructure and has a good network with many other players. So we're benefiting from that. And Korea considers South Africa is to be a very developed country and has a very favorable image and strong in many areas, in industries, and of course agriculture and other technologies, and also in culture and sports. Because just to give an example, we have a young tennis player, Jong-Dae. He advanced to the semifinals in the Australian Open because we had a new coach from South Africa. So we are very pleased that we are collaborating very closely. And there's another special aspect of our cooperation. South Africa is one of only 6 countries in the world where we receive English instructor from.
Mm-hmm.
So South Africa is recognized as a country that can officially send English teachers. So many South Africans go and teach, and they earn salaries, and we also benefit from your expertise. It's very mutually beneficial and dynamic.
It's a very interesting area of cooperation, definitely.
And of course, South African brands, because of the brand as a nation, we are very interested. I don't know about the specific companies, as there are so many, but as a whole, we think South Africa businesses are a very good partner of ours, yes.
Korean culture is one of the most ancient of your continent, and it has extended through the globe with its food and currently with K-pop. What would you say is intriguing about your culture to others around the world?
Okay, it's very interesting. The rise of K-pop and then Korean culture is growing and is continuing very strong. Before, we were mostly into Western cultures. Even Japanese culture and Hong Kong films were also very popular. But in the late 90s and the 2000s, more and more our popular culture has become very attractive to the world. And not only in Asia, but it has expanded to Middle East, to Latin America, in Europe, and also United States. And our artists, the young artists, singers, dancers, film stars, they became more and more popular. And I think that is due to our new kind of a dynamism in our culture as a country, which has transformed very rapidly, and they are interested in us. And I think our brand of goods, our company's products, had also had an effect, because more and more our products are being known all over the world, and that helps our overall brand. And it's intriguing why our artists are, doing well. And the recent phenomena, for example, several years ago of Psy, with this Gangnam Style, was a hit. So I think we have that kind of DNA in us. Are very different. For example, we can be very reserved, quiet people, but on other instances, we can be very free and very dynamic. Yes.
Very unusual for Asian cultures. No?
Yeah.
Finally, Ambassador, how would you encourage prospective tourists from South Africa to choose South Korea as their next destination?
Okay. Because up till now, mostly the tourists are coming from the south because South Africa is considered as one of the last destination. People have been in most of the places, but Africa is difficult to come to because of the distance, and South Africa in the southern part. But more and more people know about South Africa, how beautiful it is, especially the Cape Town. It's like paradise on earth. I've been there already 3 times. I'm here already only 3 months, but I go there often. It attracts me. So we know much about South Africa. And Korea, I think the tourism is growing from your side because, as I told you, many of the South African youth, they're going to Korea as an instructor and they come back again. Some stay longer, and it is becoming widely known, more and more better known in South Africa. And Korea is attractive because it's a dynamic economy, it's an open economy, and has also good business opportunities. So people from South Africa having good capacity, and also with the command of English, they are likely to enjoy more when they come to Korea. And we have a very distinct culture. The food is very good. And many attractions, to enjoy, yes.
And having so many South Africans now that go there for instruction, has there been any case of already new families, South African, South Korea, we could say a South relationship established there?
South relationship, yeah. Oh, yeah, I can see many, Korean students coming here also to study. And seen them, marry with the South Africans, and also see South African instructors going there and finding partners over there. I've seen many of them. So we feel the bond and many things that are attracting us, and it happens to be the first part comes south, South Africa and South Korea. There's some natural infinity, yes.
Correct. That's our part. Glad to have you here. Thank you so much.
Oh, so wonderful talking with you. It's a great pleasure.